All right, last time we worked on adding. Today we're working on multiplying and dividing radical expressions. To do that, sometimes you need to rationalize denominators, and sometimes you need to rationalize denominators that have binomials. So we're going to also write radical quotients in lowest terms. So how do you multiply radical expressions? The same way you did FOIL. So firsts, 2. Outsides, 2 root of 5. Insides, 1 root of 3, or just the root of 3. Lasts, root of 15. Firsts, outsides, insides, last, square root of 5 times the square root of 5 is the square root of 25. So it's minus the square root of 25, which is minus 5. Notice these two are going to cancel each other. And so you're left with, I'm going to change colors here so that you can see that our answer is 16 minus 5, which is 11. 16 minus 5. Okay, this would be firsts is the square root of 13 times the square root of 13, which is 13. Last is 2 times 2 is 4, plus 4, right? And then twice this times this, which is 4 root of 13. 13 plus 4 is 17 minus 4 root 13. Next one. Firsts, 16. Lasts, the root of the third root of 7 times the third root of 7 is minus the third root of 49. Okay, firsts, root of r times the root of r is the root of r squared, which is r. Outsides and insides are going to cancel, so it'll be minus s. Okay, you do these. Firsts is 72, outsides minus 8 root of 2, insides minus 9 root of 2, lasts minus plus the root of 10. B, that's a difference of a sum and a difference. So it'll be root of 7 times the root of 7, which is the root of 49, which is 7. The outside and inside are going to cancel each other. I'm sorry, outside and inside are going to cancel each other. So we're left with the last, square root of 25 is 5. 7 minus 5 is 2. Square root of 15 times the square root of 15 is 15. 4 times 4 is 16. Twice this times this is, that should be a plus 16, minus 8 root of 15. 15 and 16 makes 31 minus 8 root 15. Next one is also a square. I'm going to change colors again. So 8 times 8 is 64 minus the cube root of 25, 5 times 5. Last one, square root of m times the square root of m is m squared. Square root is m. And then the square root of n times the square root of n is n squared, square root, which is n. Okay, how about this one? First term squared is 9. Last term squared, 2 root of 3 times 2 root of 3 is 4 root of 9. Root of 9 is 3. 4 times 9 is 36. No, 4 times 3, excuse me, is 12. So the last term will be plus 12. And then the middle term is this times 2. 2 times 3 is 6, times 2 is 12. Root of 2. 9 and 12 makes 21, minus 12 root of 3, that's supposed to be. A is the correct answer. How about, what do we do when we have a denominator? Remember, you can't have a square root in the denominator. So in this case, we're going to multiply top and bottom by the root of 11, and we get 5 root of 11. The root of 11 times the root of 11 is 11. Multiply top and bottom by the root of 5, and we get 5 root 30 over 5. These cancel, so you have the root of 30. Now, some people would say multiply top and bottom by 18, and you would have negative 8 root 18 over 18, but 18 is 3 root of 2, so 3 times 8 is 24 root of 2 over 18, but you can simplify, divide both of those by 6, and you get 4 root of 2 over 3. Another way to do this one, I'm going to change colors, that's easier, is you say, what's the smallest thing I can multiply 18 by to get a square root? Well, here's the way I figured it out. 18 divided by 3, or divided by 2 is 9, divided by 3 is 3. These two already cancel each other, so if we had one more 2, we would be able to cancel it. What is the square root of 36? It's 6. Okay, so we have 8, negative 8, root of 2, there's a root of 2 on top, over 6. These two cancel to give you negative 4 root of 2 over 3. Slightly easier, I think, to do it that way. You try these 3. Okay, for A, you're going to multiply top and bottom by the root of 13, and you're going to get 8 root of 13 over 13. B, multiply top and bottom by the root of 3, and you get 9 root of 21 over 3. These two cancel, to give you 3 root of 21. C, I'm going to change colors here, is what's the smallest that you can, 20 divided by 2 is 10, divided by 2 is 5. Notice the 2's are going to cancel each other, so all you need is one more 5 in the top and the bottom. Now the square root of 100, which is 10, negative 10 root of 5 over 10. These cancel, so you get negative square root 5. You do this one. Multiply top and bottom by the square root of 7, and you get 4 root of 7 over 7. Okay. This one's pretty easy also. 45 divided by 5 is 9, divided by 3 is 3. These two 3's are going to cancel, so if you had one more 5 on the top and the bottom, you'd have the square root of 40 over 45 times 5, which is 225. Square root of 225 is 15. Now, what is the square root of 40? Well, that's 2 square root 10 over 15. I guess you can't, there's a negative sign out front. I guess you can't simplify it any more than that. You try this one. Oops, I'm sorry. It's one more for me to do. Y to the 7th. Well, that's already a y to the 3rd out front, and then you still have a square root y on the bottom. So why don't we just multiply top and bottom by y, and then we will have y to the 4th on the bottom. Square root of 200 is 10 on the outside. Oops, excuse me. 10 on the outside, a 2y on the inside, and then this will be k to the third, because half of 6 is 3. 10 k to the third root 2y over y to the fourth. What's the smallest thing? Oops, I should let you do it first. Divide that by 16 and you get 5, so we need one more 5. Multiply top and bottom by 5. And you have the square root of 200 on the bottom, which is, not 200, 400, which is 20. And square root of 27 is 3, root of 3, but then you've got another root of 5, so that's 3 root of 15. 48 divided by 3 is 16. So you get a pair of 4s on the outside on the top, a square root of 3 on the inside, x to the fourth on the top, and then if you multiply top and bottom by y, you'll get a y squared on the bottom, and then you'll still have a y on the inside on the top. Multiply top and bottom by y. The square root of y to the sixth is y to the third. Square root of 18, 18 divided by 2 is 9, divided by 3 is 3. So that's 3 root of 2, and there's a y, and there's also an x because there's an x out front. So it's negative, I forgot about the negative sign here, negative 3x root of 2xy over y cubed. Multiply top and bottom by 2. By now you should be getting used to seeing that this is a square root of 64, which is, cube root of 64 is 4. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. I didn't see the cube root. And then 15 times 2 is 30. So it's cube root of 30 over 4. Multiply top and bottom by w squared. W squared. And now the fourth root of w to the fourth is w. And then we'll have the fourth root of 6w squared y. I just did them in alphabetical order. You try these too. Okay, cube root of 81 you can't do yet. You can do the cube root of 81 times 3, I think. 81 divided by 3 is 27, divided by 3 is 9, divided by 3 is 3. 4 3s. No, we need to multiply by 2 more 3s. Then we'll have 2 groups of 3, so it's 9. So it's the cube root of 72, which I suppose you could take the cube root of 8, which is 2 cube root 9 over 3 times 3 is 9. Multiply top and bottom by y to the third, and you'll have the fourth root of 7xy cubed over y, because you'll have 4 y's. How many groups of 4 do you have? 1. Okay, how about this one? Well, you've already got a 9 on the bottom, so if you had another 3, then you'd have 3 3s on the bottom. And if you had an x on the bottom, you'd have 3 x's. So the cube root of that is 3x, and then you'll have the cube root of 24x on the top. Now, if you have binomials like this, remember that you take this times this, you get 1 minus the square root of 2 times the square root of 2, which is the square root of 4, which is 2. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So if you multiply it by its conjugate, in other words, switch the sign, you get rid of the denominator. So the conjugate here would be 2 plus the square root of 3, 2 plus the square root of 3. Now the numerator is 8 plus 2 root of 3. Oops, excuse me, 4 root of 3. 2 times 2 is 4. Root of 3 times the root of 3 is the root of 9, which is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. Or in other words, your answer is just 8 plus 4 root of 3, since it's all over 1. Multiply top and bottom by the root of 2 minus the root of 13. And you get 7 root of 2 minus root of 13 over root of 2 times the root of 2 is the root of 4, which is 2. Root of 13 times the root of 13 is 13. 2 minus 13 is negative 11. So it's negative 7/11 to root of 2 minus root of 13. Multiply top and bottom by the root of 2 plus the root of 7. Now by now you should be able to see that these two are related by being squared and then square rooting. So 2 minus 7 is negative 5. The denominator is actually the easier part when you rationalize the denominator, because the numerator you're going to have to FOIL. Firsts is the square root of 6. Outsides is the square root of 21. Insides is the square root of 10. Lasts is the square root of 35. You do this one. Okay, A is 4 over 1 plus the root of 3 times 1 minus the root of 3. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So we can cancel the negative 2 against 4 to give us negative 2 times 1 minus the root of 3, which is negative 2 plus 2 root of 3. And it changed colors here. Multiply top and bottom by the root of 5 plus the root of 2. The denominator becomes 5 minus 2, which is 3. Numerator, firsts, root of 15. Outsides, root of 6. Oops, 6. Insides, root of 35. Lasts, root of 14. And then the last one, multiply top and bottom by the root of 3x plus the root of y. The denominator becomes 3x minus y. Numerator becomes 8 root of 3x plus 8 root of y. How about this one? Multiply top and bottom by 10 minus the square root of 3. So 10 minus, it's 100. 10 times 10 is 100. Minus 3 is 97. 10 times 10 is 100. Is the first term. The middle term is minus 20 root of 3. The last term is minus 3. 100 minus 3 is, no, it's plus 3. 100 plus 3 is 103 minus 103 minus 20 root of 3 over 97. Okay, so when you see a quotient, sometimes you're going to have to simplify it. Now this one is pretty easy to simplify. You can divide everything by 4, and you get 6 minus 9 root of 7 over 4. That's as simplified as you can get on that one. Now sometimes you have to figure out what that square root is. So it's 2x plus 32 divided by 2 is 16, so that's 4x square root 2 over 6x. Divide everything by x, and you can divide everything by 2, and you have 1. Remember, if everything cancels out, that leaves you a 1 plus 2 root of 2 all over 3. Try this one. You can divide everything by 3, and you have 5 minus 2 root of 2 over 6. Simplify this. Square root of 50k squared is 5k square root 2. So it's 15k plus 5k root of 2 over 20k. All the k's cancel. You can divide everything by 5, and this is 3 plus 1 root of 2, which is just the root of 2, over 4. So it's 3 plus the root of 2 over 4. How about this one? Okay, 375 divided by 3 is 125, divided by 5 is 25. So that's 5 and 5. So this is 15x plus 5x root of 3 times 5 is 15, and you still have an x left on the inside, over 3x. The x's cancel, so you have 15 plus 5 root of 15x over 3. Notice how in this one they canceled the x that's inside the radical also. You can't do that. This is the right answer.